Ravi, a 33-year-old school teacher, marries Meera, a charming yet emotionally distant woman. After marriage, he finds himself slowly bonding with Meera's mother, Savita, a 50-year-old widow full of life, warmth, and wisdom. Unlike Meera, Savita listens to Ravi, understands him, and encourages his ambitions. Their bond starts innocently over evening tea, shared books, and long conversations during festivals. But as Meera and Ravi's marriage begins to crumble due to lack of emotional intimacy, Ravi finds himself drawn to Savita's strength and comfort. Savita, too, feels alive again after years of loneliness. They try to resist, hiding their emotions behind family duties and social norms. But during a family trip to the hills, one moment of vulnerability changes everything. Now, they must make a choice, bury their love forever and live in guilt, or face society, family, and their own morals to follow their hearts. Ravi had never been a man of great passion. At 33, he believed in practicality over romance. When his marriage was arranged with Meera, he didn't expect fireworks, only understanding, mutual respect, and maybe, in time, affection. But from the beginning, Meera remained distant. She was polite, even kind, but there was no warmth in her gaze, no spark in her words. Her mind was always elsewhere, her career, her friends, her phone. It was in that quiet loneliness that he noticed Savita, Meera's mother. Savita wasn't traditionally beautiful. She was in her early 50s, with streaks of silver in her long black hair, and a calm, unhurried way of moving. But there was a liveliness in her eyes, a softness in her voice that Ravi found comforting. He'd often find her in the kitchen humming old Lata Mangeshkar tunes, or reading by the balcony with a warm cup of adrak chai. She asked him about his day. She remembered the books he liked. She laughed at his quiet jokes when even Meera didn't notice them. One rainy evening, while Meera was away on a work trip, Ravi came home soaked and tired. Savita insisted he change and made him hot pakoras and chai. They sat on the balcony, the rain dancing on the railings. "I don't know how to make your daughter happy," Ravi confessed, without meaning to. Savita looked at him for a long moment. "Maybe she doesn't know how to be happy herself," she said quietly. Their eyes met. Something unspoken passed between them. Something dangerous. Where the connection begins to deepen, and the emotional undercurrents grow stronger. After that rainy evening, something changed quietly, but unmistakably. Ravi started coming home earlier. Not because he missed Meera, but because he began to crave the peacefulness of those soft conversations with Savita. They never talked about love, never crossed any lines. But the way she poured his tea, the way her eyes lingered on him a moment too long, it said more than words could. One afternoon, while dusting the old bookshelf, Savita found Ravi's college poetry notebook. She sat cross-legged on the carpet, reading through his forgotten verses. "These are beautiful," she said when he walked in. "Why don't you write anymore?" "I guess no one cared enough to read them," he replied, trying not to sound bitter. Savita looked up at him, her voice gentle. "Then let me be your reader." It was the first time in years someone had offered to see him, truly see him. That weekend, Meera returned home after yet another business trip, distracted and indifferent. When Ravi mentioned Savita had been unwell with a mild fever, Meera brushed it off. "Ma's strong. She'll be fine." That night, Ravi sat beside Savita's bed, placing a cool cloth on her forehead. She smiled through her weakness. "You are a good man, Ravi. I just wish Meera could see it." "And you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you see me?" There was a pause. The only sound was the ceiling fan's slow whir. "Yes," she replied. "I see you." They didn't touch. They didn't kiss. But in that moment, something sacred and sinful was born.